So we will get rocking and rolling. We are filming the class, so just so everyone knows, so we will be uploading this onto YouTube. Just search Pulp Riot Canada afterwards if you weren't able to make the live class. But today we're very excited to have Thomas Malong and Miss Space Steph here with us today. And they are going over their promotion. So you guys might have seen it somewhere across the country, but there's certain promotions that were highlighted and basically doing gray looks. So what we're doing today is having an interactive class to show you guys how, you know, Thomas and Steph were able to achieve those looks because they were incredibly killer. Thank you very much for coming, everybody. And I will hand it over to these two.
Awesome. So I'm going to go first. It's kind of fun. I've never done like a two-person class. And it's also cool just to mention that I'm literally on the farthest east of the country. And Steph is like the farthest west. So we're literally like dominating the whole country with this class, which is kind of cool. It's our east to west tour. We're going to start. So my name is Thomas Malong. I'm T Malong on Instagram. And I am at my salon, Vivid Hair Studio, in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. So I've been an educator with Pulp Riot for a few years, and we're super excited to be bringing you a little info on like blonding and silver hair today. So I'm going to be talking about my look that was in the promotion this month, which I super love and I'm like super proud of. I really like it. I think it's like a fun, versatile color. I love cutting hair, so I gave it a haircut too. So I love how versatile it is. And I'm going to kind of be focusing on our new liquid demis the most out of anything. I believe Steph will tell you later on, she's going to be focusing on something a little bit different. So we are going to focus on our promotional looks. At the end, we're going to pop in a few of our other favorite toner formulas and lightning tips. We have a little slideshow with some slides so you can take screenshots. And we're also going to be doing a little giveaway maybe at the end. So maybe make sure to pay attention during this and take some notes and stay alert. And you might win a fun little box of goodies. So yeah, so first I'll talk about my look that I have here. As you can see, it is a really cool toned silvery blonde. So I created this look over pre-lightened hair. This mannequin was lightened, I want to say, to about a really, really nice level 9, pretty yellow. So as you can see, the toners really did a lot here. So before I start talking about what I actually used as far as formulas and stuff go, I just want to do a quick little liquid demi rundown because they are fairly new to us at Pulp Riot. I've been using the liquid demis since the second they came out. I was so excited to get them. And I've been doing hair for over 13 years. And I'd actually, until this point, never used a liquid demi from any other brand. The brands that I had used prior to Pulp Riot did not have liquid demis, so they were totally new to me. I was kind of freaked out at first, and in our little educator group chat, I was like, "Hi, SOS, help me!" So, you know, for me, it was a new thing, which was really fun. I was like a little nervous. I didn't really know what to expect. I was like, "Ooh, it's so liquid," but I figured it out, which is great. So we have quite a few shades in our liquid demis, ranging through our Pulp Riot, our Faction 8 shades as well, so they kind of match up. So I have my little swatch book here, just as an example. It's like a super cool swatch book. And there are quite a few shades in here, ranging from like the neutrals to the coppers to the reds and the boosters. We do have some new shades coming out as well, which are level 10s as well as a level 1, which is great. So I find I use the liquid demis personally, mostly for toning, color melting, root shadowing, stuff like that. I do refresh some ends with them on my global color clients, but most of my clients aren't just global colors. They're usually highlighted or or semi-permanent colors, blondes, etc. So yeah, so it's super easy and really great. I love it because there's just one developer, which is this guy here. It's a 6.7% or volume, sorry. It's a 2% developer, so 6.7 volume and 2%. And you can see all the fun little designs. All of the packaging for the liquid demis are kind of based on like temporary flash tattoos, just because like a temporary tattoo, demi-permanent hair color gradually fades away. So that was kind of their thinking there. And I love the packaging. We have a large staff in a small salon, so our color area is quite condensed. So I love the little bottles. They have the color family and the level on the front, as well as on the top. So for us, we stack them in a drawer. So we actually use this sticker, and Pulp Riot is one of the only brands that I've really seen this on. I've done a lot of research, and I saw a lot of people always like have to Sharpie right on the top. So I'm glad that we don't have to do that with every friggin' color, because we would have to hire someone just to do that. We go through so much of it. Yeah, so I love the shades. I love the developer. I love that there's just one. It's super easy. One mix 1-to-1 is what I did for this lady here. So I'm going to show you her up a little more close. So I've actually used 3 different formulas in this look, okay? So I know it looks very subtle in the differences, but you can kind of see the depth at the root, and then you can kind of see how it fades into like a very lighter tone right on the tips. So one thing that I was really excited about with the liquid demis was that there was a -1-1, which 1 in Pulp Riot is an ash. So this is a double ash liquid demi. So on the root, I shadowed the root with 8-1-1, mixed 1-to-1 with the developer over level 9 pre-lightened hair. So, you know, inside of the banana. So that's like a lot of toning for an inside of the banana yellow. And that's one application. I didn't pre-tone. I didn't purple shampoo first. This is right over the yellow level 9. So I did an 8-1-1 right at the root, about 1 inch out. You can kind of see it here. And then I kind of graduated that into 9-1-1 and 9-2, which is violet. So that's kind of what's going on in the mids here. In certain lighting, you can see the very slight violet tone. So I decided to mix the -2 with the -1-1, because since I was going a level lighter with the -1-1 into a level 9, I wanted to use the -2 to cancel out any lighter yellow that would be through here, because as you know, purple is the opposite of yellow. And then I graduated that into 9-1-1, 9-2, and clear. So I actually used the same photo or the same formula from the mids, and I did 9-1-1, 9-2, and 0-0, which is our clear, to kind of dilute it a little bit more. So as you can see, you kind of see that gradient and how it turns into this almost like translucent white silver blonde. I do find the liquid demis to be quite strong, which I really like. Like, I like to go into colors like with confidence. I know what I want to use and I know what I want them to do. So I'm not someone who wants things to be really slow. Like, I want to be able to put it on, have it work, and get it done. So for me, I love that the liquid demis work really quickly. But that's what's great about having the 0-0. If you are someone who likes to slow down the process, dilute the strength of the pigment a little bit, you can pop that 0-0 in there, and it kind of like smooths everything out a bit more. We use a lot of the 0-0 here. Most of our toner formulas, especially on blonding for the mids and ends, we usually always have the 0-0 in it. And it just gives you like a really, I mean, obviously this isn't a natural color, but I feel like the dimension it gives it, like if it was a natural color, it looks, you know, very natural and super pretty. So yeah, so that was my promotional look. Honestly, really easy. I used 3 different shades. I did the 811, the 911, the 9-2, and then the 0-0 clear. So thanks. So that's what I was going for. Like, I love blonding. I love silver hair, but I find a lot of like very few people can actually achieve silver healthy hair and have it truly be silver. And to me, this does look super expensive, really classy. You know, a young, cool person could easily have this hair color. I have clients that are more mature that have this hair color. It really is for everyone. It just depends on how you style it, what kind of haircut you pair with it, and etc. So yeah, so that's my kind of spiel on the liquid demis and on my promotional look. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, any questions from anyone about Thomas's look before we move on to Steph?
This look is on my Instagram also, if you want to see like an actual photo of it, because I know this is like not always the most amazing. It's this photo here on my Instagram. So if you want to go look that up, that is on there as well. But yeah, I definitely think don't be scared of the -11s. I was a little freaked out at first because I was like, oh my God, double ash on level 9, but it works. It really, really works. So I would highly recommend it.
One quick question from Jillian.
Mm-hmm.
What base did you, here we go. What base did you start with on that?
Yeah.
What was the base?
Yeah, so this mannequin came to me as like a level 9 inside the banana pre-light yellow blonde. Quite yellow, like more on the yellow side than not. And I always wash my mannequins first, just in case there's any coatings or anything on them. So I just washed it with like a detoxifying regular shampoo. I didn't purple shampoo at first because I didn't want to, like, I really wanted to see what the toners could do without pre-toning with a purple shampoo. So yeah, this is just on level 9, like very, very yellow, very, very yellow hair.
And then one more, can you speak to some after to keep the color and how long the color will last?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously colors like this, I always tell my clients, you know, when you are making your hair silver, when you're making your hair gray, it is not a natural color. Yes, it grows naturally out of people's heads for sure. But if you are, you know, a brunette and you're going this color, the whole time you're doing it and the whole time you're maintaining it, you're always going to be fighting those unwanted warm tones. So all of my clients with hair color, you know, that is a little more high maintenance, all wash in cold water, not cool water, cold water. Like, I torture them. I'm like, don't even turn that warm on. Like, I don't want to hear you turning the warm water on. I'll know. And so that is a big thing. Obviously, wash as little as possible. This is a demi-permanent toner, you know what I mean? So it gradually is going to come out. That's what demi-permanent hair color is made to do. So obviously maintaining it with like our Barcelona toning shampoo at home would be great. Really making sure to treat it and condition it, heat style as little as possible. And when you do, make sure you always use heat protection. But in my opinion, one of the #1 things is the cooler the water and the less washing, the longer it's going to last. So, and clients like this, I mean, that have like a full color like this, you have to see them every 4 to 6 weeks anyway to get the regrowth done, or you're going to get lines of demarcation. So with them coming that frequently, if they're doing the cool water and the Barcelona and those things in between, most of the time when they come back, it, you know, it will lose some of the strength of the tone, but it usually is still pretty toned. Yeah.
Amazing. And I know that like our demis, you know, we say they should last about six weeks, right? And we've had some incredible results.
Yeah, for sure.
With longevity. So like even some of the darker shades, we're talking about blonding today, but those darker shades stay for a very long time. And so do like the gold shades and the silver shades. So it is a very good line for longevity as well.
When I refresh my dark haired clients with the liquid demi, I usually only have to do it every, like I'll do it and then I'll probably skip doing it like 2 appointments because it just stays really, really well.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
We're going to move on to Steph and her look.
So shiny.
Hi, everyone. My name is Steph. My name is Steph, also known as Space Steph on Instagram. If you don't follow me already, then you can please do so. I just wanted to start this chat with just honoring the traditional territories that I'm working from, the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations territories. I just find it a great honor to be able to have this voice and have this job and work on this land. And I just want to pay my respects to that and honor that. I live in Vancouver and I work at a salon called Space Salon, and that's owned by Michael Levine and Liz Abreu. If you follow Pulp Riot, then you probably know who they are. And they've been a really great mentor, and they've been great leaders to me. And that's how I got into Pulp Riot, was through them originally. So I've been kind of following along, working as a assistant at hair shows. I just followed everyone along kind of in North America and Canada. I even went to Prague, and I just kept showing up and putting in the work. And then now here I am teaching this class. So I'm really happy to be part of the Pulp Riot family. I love using their products. I pretty much, for the last few years now, have exclusively only used Pulp Riot. And I'm going to share with you some of my silver looks. I do a lot of silver looks in the salon behind the chair. It's quite common for me to have a full global bleach out and then a silver look or something like that. So this is the look I'm going to show you. It's a metallic look, and I really utilize the high-speed toners. My light keeps turning off for some reason, I'm not sure, so just bear with me. And it's utilizing the high-speed toners, which I'm going to show you here. So there's a total of 8 high-speed toners, and I love them all very much. This one is utilizing the icy and the silver. So it's a pretty simple recipe, I guess, recipe formula. So there we go, the icy and the silver. And I'm using both 6-ball and 10-ball. So I use 2 separate bowls to create this 6-ball, 10-ball. And why I do 2 separate bowls and like how I create this look is, you can see this is the before. The light is bad. Whatever, we'll just leave it like that. So this is the before, pretty yellow, pale yellow. And then this is the after, the silver. And on a normal client, when I'm doing this, if I did this application, no matter how perfect like the level 10 is at the roots, her mids and her ends, by the time she comes back, they're like a level 12 plus because she's been bleached out for so long. So I mix something a little bit more powerful for the roots, which is our icy and silver mixed 1-to-1, so equal parts of both icy and silver, mixed 1-to-1 with the 10-ball. And I do it with the 10-ball just to give like a little boost at the roots, just in case there's a little bit of yellow. It is important to know that it does definitely have to be lifted to like a level 10. You know, if you're trying to get away with like a level 8 or a level 9, it will still work and your results will still be nice, but it won't be the results like this. So I'm not doing it to try to boost it up more than, it's just keeping in mind that the mids and the ends get so light over time, especially if they're doing their maintenance at home and their purple shampoos and they're taking care of it and they're the perfect blonde client, then their ends are just always very light. So with the ends formula, I switch it up a little bit and I do 3/4 part icy with 1/4 silver. And I mix this 1-to-3, and I mix this with 6 volume because I want it to be a little bit gentler. And I put more developer in there because I know that those ends are porous and they're blonde and they're white. They're like level 12. So it's not going to take as much work as the freshly bleached roots. And I was just going to show you a little application about how I like to apply. Oh, and can everyone hear me still? I feel like I'm just talking to myself because I can't hear anything.
We can hear you.
Does anyone have any questions about the high-speed toners or anything that I've covered so far before I get into this application?
All good. Can everyone see Steph on the big screen now for her application?
Trying to find where that camera is at.
Tybee asks, what toner is your go-to?
My go-to, so when I created this formula, this metallic, this was my go-to, and this was before Icy or before Moonstone came out. Now I'm finding that I use a lot of Moonstone mixed with Icy, and this kind of this application, I'm just going to show you in here in a good section. I would say that using the silver 1 to 3 or the Icy 1 to 3 was what I was trying to create with Moonstone is kind of what I was trying to create with that. So now that we have Moonstone, it's a gentler Icy, basically. I feel like it's not as pigmented. So I'm just going to show you one section because we don't need to watch me apply a whole color of hair or whole head of color. So I'll just do your standard. You know, if you have a regrowth coming in, it's probably going to be around there. And this would be your freshly bleached hair. So it's a little, even though if it's a level 10, it's just like, realistically, it's not going to be as light as those mids and the ends. It literally never is for me. And I do this a lot.
We have one question from Jillian.
Yes.
When working with really porous ends and the high-speed toners, what do you recommend to mix the second bowl when using the high-speed toner? So when you're going to pull through the mid-lengths and ends, if you're working with porous hair, what do you usually mix?
Well, for this formula, I mix. Oh, I'm glitching out. For this formula, I mix just more diluted with a 6 volume. And for another formula that I'm going to share with you afterwards, I do have a gentler formula using the liquid demos. My, can you hear me? I think I'm having a glitchy problem. I'm just going to take that off. I had my AirPods in, but I'm just going to take that off. Can you hear me?
That's way better stuff.
All right. So like I was saying, for this formula, I would just mix the same high-speed toners, but with 6 volumes so that it's more gentle for the porous ends, and I dilute it with developer so that it's not as pigmented. And I will share another formula for very porous hair to create a silver look using very little pigment. So I just apply my root color high-speed toner, and I would do a whole application, a whole head of the roots first before you move on to the mids and the ends. And then I just use a wide tooth comb and I comb it through. The combing for me is like essential. Like I can't go anywhere without my wide tooth comb because I just like to blend it in, and for me that helps make it soft. And then once you did your whole head, once again, I'm not going to show you a whole head because that would be boring. You would go through and then just apply. Now this is your more diluted version. This is going to be your 1 to 3 with your 6 ball. So it's going to be gentler for the ends. So it's nice that, you know, if somebody's hair is feeling a little tired or feeling like it needs a little boost up, it's important to remember that this is ammonia based. So it's still pretty shiny. Like I didn't put anything onto the other side, which I'll show you again. It's pretty shiny, but if somebody had fine hair or their hair was quite tired, you would want to consider using acidic based. And then I really just make sure that I melt that all together, work it in, and I'm not shy about marrying the two colors together. I really work that in. And I like to have the whole roots done before I do the ends, just because, like I said, no matter how perfect it is, I find that it's always just a bit yellow when I do it a fresh bleach out. So that is the application. And this is the gal. I'm gonna try to take her off and just show you a little closer too. So you can see the roots are a little bit more depthy than the ends. The ends can be a little bit lighter, and especially towards the ends. If we put that same formula that we put on the roots here, her whole hair would be like very dark silver, which isn't wrong, but you know, for someone that's used to being a level 10 or a level 11 plus, if they saw that really pigmented silver metallic, they might get a little bit scared. So that's why I like to just do it at the roots to create depth, to help boost that little bit of yellow that might be remaining, and then I quickly go through. And this whole application, like if I were to do a whole application, very, very quick. I don't waste time because it's a high-speed toner. You can see already, just from sitting here and talking with that application, it's working. It's starting to take place already. So you can see a little bit more depthy here, and then into the ends. So you can't be taking a lot of time just, you know, milling around. It's a quick application, but I like to do it in 2 bowls to create depth. Otherwise it can just look a little too opaque. And like I said, I'm not gonna bother doing that whole thing on camera because that's boring, but I will finish it after this and then I can show you guys. So that is pretty much my look on the metallic silver. It is a go-to formula for me. I use it all the time. People love to have silver hair, and especially about this, it fades out very, very gracefully. So part of the whole pulp riots, the joy of it is the fade out. It's not just the final result, it's that whole journey before you get to come in for your next appointment. And I find that this just fades out so, so beautifully, so, so pale platinum. And you know, if you work with me in the salon or you see that, you do see that my clients are coming back with still very icy hair. So this is a good formula to keep it icy, to keep it silver.
Also,
and that's that.
One question for you. Well, 2 questions.
Yeah.
Do you always apply the high-speed toners on dry hair? And then also, do you have any lighting tips, like tips on blonding to get to that perfect canvas for that silver?
I don't actually apply it on, it's mostly on damp hair. Sometimes it's on dry hair. But if I am using the high-speed toners, it's in a case where I've just done a global lightening. So I put it on damp hair, usually, to be honest. And another thing about that is if somebody has a really sensitive scalp, for this formula, it was 10 volume on the roots and 6 volume on the ends. If somebody can't handle that 10 volume on the roots, because it's important to remember that it's still an ammonia-based color, toner, so it is gonna have a little bit of a bite to it. Don't put the 10 volume, switch it out for 6 volume. For lightning, at the skill that I'm at and at the timing that I'm at now in my career, I'm just going in with everything automatically with 20 ball. Like I don't use any other volume, really. It's 20 ball, 20 ball, 20 ball. And my secret to that is that I mix less more often. So if I'm doing a global lightning or a platinum card, and I think a good tip too is if you've got more than 2 inches of regrowth, you definitely need to be doing that in foils. I don't think that it's as efficient to do an open air global application of bleach if their regrowth is pretty serious. You're gonna have more control if you section it out, quadrants, standard, nothing too advanced in the sectioning and the application. Thin sections, I hit it with 20 volume right away, and I would like mix a new batch. Like for this section, a new bowl, a new bowl, a new bowl, a new bowl. So I'm using a total of 4 bowls to keep it really fresh. I always start in the densest spot of the hair where it's thicker, where it's stronger, where less light goes to. And I'll often leave out, especially if you're doing 20 ball, I'll often leave out the hairline and the pieces surrounding the face and the nape. They're a little bit more sensitive. So I don't want to start there, or I don't want to start in the nape. By the time you finish your application, then that's sitting on there the longest, and it's also the most delicate. So that's when you risk getting some breakage or compromising the integrity of the hair. I think, was there another question?
No, that was good. I think you killed it. That was great. So we'll move on and I'll share my screen and show your guys formulas.
Yeah, sure. we've got some swatches or some slides.
Love it. Okay. Okay, well, welcome. This is, I'll let Thomas speak to this one first.
Yeah, this is my promotional look right here. So definitely take a screenshot or a photo of this if you want this information. Like it shows there, it was all mixed 1-to-1. So you should be good to go with this information on that one.
Awesome. So yeah, we like to do this and put the slides together so you guys can take a screenshot so that you know exactly what went down.
Exactly. And then next I have 2 other formulas that are unrelated from the promo that are both using Faction 8 and high speed toners mixed together, which I personally do a lot. So this was lightened with our Blonde AF lightener. I did like a full foil with kind of like balayage between the foil, keeping some of the natural depth. I toned this with our Icy high speed toner and our 9-2 from our Faction 8 series. I mixed that 1-to-2 with 6 volume. So that's kind of my thing. I use the high speed toners a lot. Personally, I usually mix a level with them because I find that you get more control. It also slows down the high speed toner a little bit depending on what you're doing. I will take that route because they are very, 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 very fast, like Steph said.
When you're mixing in a level, how much of that level do you mix in?
So this is 50-50. This is half Icy and half 9-2. I wanted the like clear, bright white that Icy gives, but then I also wanted the control of having a level 9 in it to give it some depth. And then I wanted the violet undertone to really cancel out those yellow pigments and give you that kind of like bright, you know, Nordic blonde kind of look.
So beautiful. So
yeah.
9.2 Faction 8 and Icy.
Yes.
Love it. And then you have one more here for us.
Yeah, so this is my cool, more cropped look. So for this, I lightened, did a global bleach out with Blonde AF. So when I toned this, I find personally toning really short, especially clipper cut hair, to be very different. So I went in with the formula 1/3 of each of these. So 1/3 Moonstone, 1/3 9-2, and 1/3 9-1, mixed 1-to-2 with 6 volume. So when I go in to apply this, I apply first to kind of like the occipital bone and nape area, because I find that is the thickest area on most people, and that kind of takes the longest to tone. And it is sometimes very hard to get an even tone on really cropped hair like this. So, so I do that first. As you can see in the photo, it has a very, very, very slight violet undertone, but is kind of smoky as well. So that violet undertone is coming from the 9-2. The smoky undertone is coming from the 9-1, which is ash. So we have ash, we have violet, and then we have moonstone, which is also quite a violet-based high-speed toner. So I just find it's a really nice mixture to keep it bright, white, but also smoke it out a little bit for the people that kind of want that platinum silver blonde, but they don't want it to be like screaming blonde. I'll always add in a little -1 to kind of smoke it out a bit and make it a little deeper.
Cool. That's amazing tips.
Well,
all right, and then I think we're going on to Steph. Here's your formula.
Oh, yes, my formula. So this is the one that we already talked about, the one that you can see here. You can screenshot if you didn't get a chance to write it down. And then we could just, like, I'll just quickly say, you know, I did 1-to-1 on the roots again with the 10 ball, and that's to give it a little boost. mids and ends because those are already so pale. I did 3/4 icy, 1/4 silver, and 1 to 4 was 6 full. We can move on to the next slide. So silver light. So this is a good thing. This is a formula for if you were asking if somebody's hair is quite porous. Now this is, once again, we have the level 10s coming to us soon. So you don't have to get so mix master with it. But this is a great formula for, I'm going to show you here. I've got it. You want to make sure that your client is really, really blonde. Like if this is someone that isn't naturally quite light and it's a bit of a challenge, this formula isn't great for that. This is for somebody who lives and takes care of their blonde and it's like a really good blonde client, comes in for their toners, comes in for their highlights regularly, comes in and buys all the appropriate product. And I'll just kind of, I don't know if you can see, the lighting is kind of bad here. Try to get this in. You can see, I'm not sure. So it's really, really pale. It's a really, really pale color. And it's just a traditional to just keep it like to your pale white. You know, I can't really see this. Let me try turning this. And then the other color, we can move to the next slide. That will help. And I did a high contrast, and this was using the Interstellar actually, and I did the 1211 on the roofs and then the 1201 on the ends. And you can see here, it's similar to this color that we have, but a little bit brighter. So if you wanted to do something a little bit more high contrast, really still keeping in that silver world, the 1201 is a really, really beautiful silvery pale blonde, I would say. And I just mixed that with 10 volume, 1:1 with the Interstellar, which is also a really, really great tool for creating silvers. Once again, you want to keep in mind that it is an ammonia-based product. So if the hair is really tired or needs a rest, you might want to reach for those liquid demis. But, or also something that I do, another little tip for doing the ammonia toners, if you're feeling that the hair could use a little extra treatment, I'll often just hit it with the clear from the liquid demis, or I might do something where I'm like my Silver Lights formula where you're just putting a little bit of pigment in. So you're using mostly clear, and for that Silver Lights, it wasn't equal parts. Sorry, I should have said that. I did a base of clear, so say 30 grams of clear, and then I was just very sophisticated and used the cap to measure, and I did 1 cap of 9.1 and 1 cap of 9.2. And that formula would be for if somebody has really, really blonde hair, I'm talking like that, like level 11 plus, and they're like really married to the idea of having the blonde hair. You could do something like that as a secondary treatment. So it's a great opportunity to upsell, and you could, I've heard people call it a grapeseed treatment. And just to really seal the cuticle in, and that will give you your shine, that will give you your softness if you're finding that you're not quite getting it from the high speed toners. But even with this, like this is just high speed toners and it's so very shiny. So it really depends on the hair, I would say.
And then we have one more question. What would you mix for gunmetal gray?
For a gunmetal gray, I would say the metallic is quite good, but probably the high contrast, like this still, like this formula. I can't see, the lighting is so bad. But you can see that that is really gray. And if you go into the Interstellar, you can go see the swatches. You go on that Pulp Riot education. It will have all the swatches. But this 1211 is a very, very saturated gunmetal gray. It's a little bit on the cooler side. It's a blue gray spray. So if you're looking for a blue-based gray, then Interstellar 1211. And if you wanted it to be even more blue than that, you could add some of the additives into there.
Amazing. I think
depends too, like how pale you start, right? Like these formulas are all really designed for like level, maybe a level 9, but really level 9, 10. So it's good. It's important to remember if you have any of that darker yellow or the orange yellow, it's really hard to achieve like a true gray unless you go with the darker, you start going into the 911 and the 811. These are all designed for lighter hair.
Okay, very cool.
Anyone have any other questions?
Yeah, does anyone have any questions in general about anything else before we kind of wrap this up? Like, now is the time to get a few questions in.
Thomas, why don't you tell them about our giveaway?
Yeah, so we are giving away 2 boxes. What did you call them?
Buzz boxes.
Buzz boxes. We're going to be giving away 2 buzz boxes. They are going to have a liquid demi developer and I believe 5 liquid demi shades in it for you to try. So we're giving 2 of those away today. So with that, Steph and I each have a question, and the first person to answer it in the chat typed out so that Carson can see it and grab your information, you're gonna win one of these buzz boxes. So I hope you were paying attention. Cool.
And all you, if there's any educators out there, don't even try it.
Yeah, sorry,
Oh,
educators. Yeah. You guys already have the goods, so these goods are for the people that do not have the goods. So too bad, Koi, specifically.
Specifically Koi, you're out. Just kidding. But yes, if we're trying to leave this open to stylists that maybe want to get their hands on this product, don't get to use it as much. So unfortunately, fam, you are out of the draw.
Sorry.
Thomas, what's your question?
So my question is, I talked about the liquid demis the most because that's what I used for my promotional look. And I mentioned talking about the developer. So my question is, what is the volume of the liquid demi developer? So whoever types out the answer first shall win the prize. Bam.
Whoa.
Bam.
That was amazing, Renee.
You were in my head. You were ready. Like, you were taking notes. You were ready. Like, no one else has a chance to survive. This is the Hunger Games.
Okay, so Renee, I'm gonna need you to email education@pulpriothair.com, and I'm just gonna need to, I'll put in the chat exactly what I need, like your name, address, phone number, email, and just send us an email with that information to education@pulpriothair.com, and we will send that package out to you. So one more.
Amazing.
And you
Right,
can't
so
win the second one, Renee. You just can't.
Renee, you can't win both. Everyone get their little fingers ready if you're as fast as Renee. So I was talking about this look. I used the high-speed toners to create this look. Now I'm wondering how many members of the high-speed toner family are there? How many high-speed toners does Pulp Bright have?
Oh, Jillian.
Yes, Jillian.
Jillian! Whoop, whoop. Amazing.
Amazing.
Good job, everyone.
That is amazing. Good for you guys. You're very on it.
I would not want to be.
I
I would not want to be. Yeah.
So let's open up the floor for any final questions before we say goodbye.
Yeah.
Anything I can help you with? We're good.
If you guys, like I said in the beginning, if you do want to watch this again, just search. You can go to all of our live education and Zoom education on TV at Pulp Riot Hair, but on YouTube. If you just search all of these, if you haven't been able to make them, we upload them to YouTube. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Make us YouTube stars. Share our YouTube video.
Right? You should. All right. Lots of thank yous. Advice for someone who just started using the high-speed toners and the semi-permanent colors. Any advice for someone who started using those two?
My advice for the high-speed toners would be if your timing is not where it needs to be, meaning you're not working really fast,
to dilute them a little bit more. Go up to 1 to 4 instead of 1 to 1 or 1 to 2, because you might find that your results aren't what you imagined, because they are very, very pigmented. So they work really fast, very pigmented. So if your timing is something you're still working on, if you've got junior timing, I would recommend to dilute them 1 to 4.
Yeah, and for the semis, I mean, I always say have fun, really have fun mixing them together, make your own formulas. I use some of them right out of the tube sometimes, but a lot of the time I'm mixing custom formulas. So, you know, they're all intermixable, really have fun with it. And my number one tip is to remember to never condition the hair before you apply the semi-permanent colors, because conditioner closes down the cuticle. The semi-permanent colors are conditioner based, so you do not want to condition the hair before you apply the colors. So I feel like that seems to be one of the things when people have trouble with them and I ask if they're conditioning, that seems to be the number one thing that people are doing that you're not supposed to be doing. So
all right, well, thank you everyone. That was very, very, very good, very informative. I know everyone always, the biggest question is, how do I get that silver blonde? So I think today was really helpful for a lot of people.
The age-old question.
Exactly. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye,
you
everyone.
so much. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.